So you want to have a visually consistent Instagram theme, but you're not sure where to start. Well, my friend, you have found the right video, because today I am going to show you 5 ways that you can have a more aesthetic and thematic Instagram feed. Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Katie Steckly, and here on YouTube I love to share my best social media and content creation tips and advice. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos, and while you're at it, hit the notification bell because I post 2 videos a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a single one. So let's dive right into it. Today I have 5 steps to share with you on how to make your Instagram feed into a more visually consistent theme and just to have it more visually appealing in general. Number 1, you can use presets. This is something that you might have heard of before, but maybe you're unsure of what the term presets actually means. It comes from Lightroom, which is a photo editing software made by Adobe. Basically, what it means is you can create a set of edits that you then save as a preset, and you can apply it to every image. So let's say on one image you might set the contrast higher, maybe you'll desaturate the greens, maybe you'll make the teal pop out a little bit. You can save all of those edits into one little package and then apply it to every image that you're editing. That's the beauty of a preset. It has that built-in consistency. You don't need to use Lightroom in order to use presets. There's all kinds of editing apps out there now that have filters, is another term for it, or presets like Visco that you can apply to your images to get that consistent look. An example of an Instagram account that I love that I think does this really well is this account, which is called Salty Lux. This is a tropical travel themed account, so of course the fact that she's in consistent destinations really helps, but she doesn't just travel to French Polynesia and Bora Bora, which but she also was traveling to Europe last summer, and as you can see as I scroll through here, the presets keep a very consistent visual theme going on even as the destinations are changing. So this is a really great way to tie together all of your photos, even if it's not the exact same background every time. You can purchase presets from a lot of creators online, but I would encourage you to try making your own. The Lightroom mobile app is free, and you can make your own presets in there, and eventually you can define what your own style is to have a really unique take that people are going to start to recognize. Number 2, consistent colors and outfits. Another thing you can do to keep your Instagram looking really consistent is to just legitimately wear similar outfits in all of your photos. Now, I wouldn't recommend wearing the exact same outfit every time because that might get a little bit boring and people might start to notice, but if you have a wardrobe that has a consistent color scheme to it, that's really going to help you have a consistent theme. A really good example of this is, of course, the patron saint of Instagram, Jenna Kutcher, who I talk about all the time, but seriously, her feed is beautiful. She has this really nice array of neutral and kind of orange tones in there that look really great with her skin tone. She has all these outfits that are basically within the same palette, and that really helps tie together the consistency of her feed because the colors in the images are all looking pretty similar, because all of her clothes are pretty similar. So that is a really easy way that doesn't even require any editing to make your feed look more consistent, is just try to have your outfits or the environments that you're shooting in have consistent coloring. Because you might not be in every picture, but if you can make sure that like the background or the subjects of your images are in the same color family, then that's gonna help your feed look more consistent. I feel like I've said consistent a million times in this video, and we're just gonna keep on saying it. Number 3, it's important that you have a variety of poses and environments in your feed. We've been talking a lot about similarity and consistency, but it is important to switch it up. You don't want every single photo to be a selfie or every single photo to be you in front of a white wall unless that's like the theme of your account. It's important to switch things up so that as a new follower comes to your profile, they scroll through and it doesn't feel like it's the same photo every single time. It's switching it up. And I would also recommend that as you're posting, don't put 2 photos that look like the same pose or the same place right next to each other in your feed. You can use apps like Unum to pre-plan your feed to make sure that it's gonna look like it has some variety and a little bit of diversity as you scroll through there. A really awesome example of this is the account in the Wander Years that you guys can all check out. Her name is Jen. She goes on amazing adventures, has very cool style, and her feed is super coherent but also has a lot of variety. If you scroll through, you'll notice that she doesn't have one close-up of her face next to another close-up of her face. There's a huge variety in poses and background backgrounds, but at the same time, it all feels like one sort of cohesive visual theme. This is a really great example to draw from because it's so important to not get formulaic so that it's predictable, but to also keep that consistency. So try to think about that as you're planning your feed. Don't have two of the exact same pose next to each other in your grid. Number 4, another thing you can do to make your grid look cool is to create a pattern. This is something that I would recommend, especially if you're kind of like a brand or a business account and you're trying to keep the content fresh and keep it moving, but you don't necessarily have photos of people or photos of products to post every single time. An example of this is something that I've created with one of my clients, Jen. Jen is a real estate agent and I produce her YouTube channel and her podcast as well as her Instagram page. And something that we've decided to do with Jen is to create this pattern that goes between quotes and YouTube video previews, photos of her family, her dogs, that kind of thing. And it creates this pattern as I post week after week. I think this is a really cool way to keep a feed consistent and to also create a really consistent content calendar, because I know every week I'm posting a preview to her podcast, I'm posting a preview to her YouTube video, and then I'm posting 2 other images, usually one of her and usually one of something else. So that builds a really easy to follow content calendar that you know is going to help you to produce fresh content every week, and it also makes your grid look really cool as you continue to build out that pattern. Again, a way that you can do this is by using an app like Unum to plan out your grid ahead of time. When I was making this though, I actually just did it in like a Word document so that I could send it as a proposal to Jen. Really, all you need to know when you're planning out a pattern like this is that there are going to be 3 images across. If you go every other, then you're going to have like a checkerboard. This one that I've done with Jen is a little bit more complex because there's 4 versions of the posts that we do. Just think through whatever you want to plan, and you can even make like a fake Instagram account, like just a burner account, to try it out on the real feed if you want to before you start posting it on your real account. There's lots of different options for this, but this one in particular does require a lot of planning and consistency. You need to make sure that you keep it up, because if you miss one post, then the entire thing gets off. And finally, number 5, a way to make your feed more visually appealing is to just take better photos. This might sound harsh, but all of these tips are only as helpful as your photos are good. If you have grainy photos with no clear subject that look blurry or like super dark, then slapping a preset on them and wearing the same clothes in every picture still isn't going to help. So if you want to learn more about how to take better photos for Instagram, you can check out this video that I made all about that. I think it would really help you, and if you incorporate that with all of these tips, then you're really just gonna hit it out of the park on your Instagram grid. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap that notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my future videos. I upload twice a week, all about Instagram and other social media tips. And as always, I hope that you are having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!